there are cool people, and then there's really cool people, and then there's my buddy Jeremy, who I'm here with today. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat on this New American Town podcast because we are sitting at Haxton Studios with Jeremy McGhee. How you doing today?
I'm doing good after that really nice ego boost. Thank you. That was a really cool intro.
Was that with the $20 you gave me? I feel like was that right. Appropriate?
I got my money's worth.
You got your money's worth. That's right. So, what have you been up to? There's so much I want to talk to you about, but let's start off with you've been on the road, but you recently moved here to Bentonville.
Yep.
And bought a house.
Yep.
So tell us about sort of that. What brought you to that decision? And for the folks out there, can you give us like a little bit of background, your history, what got you into to mountain biking, sort of, extreme sports in general, and how all of that brought you here to Bentonville?
All right. I guess I can give you a quick rundown.
Yeah.
I'm from San Diego. I've been a runner and a surfer my entire life. I don't consider myself a mountain biker, actually.
Oh, okay.
And I was in a motorcycle accident in 2001 and paralyzed from that. I'm a paraplegic. And in my efforts to figure out how to get on the trail and how to get onto the beach, researching things like off-road wheelchairs and things like that, I found this really cool mountain bike. And this bike is how I get on the trail. It's how I trail run. I always say if I wasn't in a wheelchair, that I'd be one of those weirdo ultra runners.
Right.
And so this bike is how I get out there and am able to have a relationship with nature. And, just decided to fully embrace it, throw on the full face and the armor and ride the bike park too.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm a mountain biker now.
Maybe you'll have to add mountain biker to your list of accomplishments. But you've been all over. I mean, you've been all over the country, out on trails. It seems like every time I look at Instagram or hear from you, you're in some other, some part of the country, but you've had a lot of experience on a lot of different trails. And part of that, if I understand correctly, is that you're going out and sort of seeing what trails are sort of available for other adaptive riders and adaptive experiences. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
As cool as this bike is, it is limited.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten into some pretty precarious situations out on the trail, especially riding by myself.
Yeah.
And I've even been helicoptered out before.
Wow.
I've had to call 911 twice.
Wow.
And just a normal day riding can turn into something not so fun really quickly.
Yeah.
A rollover can happen at any moment, even no matter what trail I'm on. It happens so fast and so easily, and it depends if I'd roll off the trail or not, if I'm able to get back out. And then you can imagine, turning that thing around on a piece of tight single track with a drop off as a paraplegic sitting on the ground.
Right.
Not an easy task to perform. So I was am out there having these experiences. And I'm like, man, there's got to be something out there. Someone's got to have a blog or something. And I was really coming up empty-handed. The information is just not out there.
Right.
So I called up Trail Forks, which is number one mountain bike information resource. And I asked them if they were interested in documenting this information so that adaptive riders can use the app like anybody else. And they said, yes, we want to do this.
Yeah.
So I developed a simplified rating system and started sharing my trail experiences, which turned into a fun YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And with the goal of big data, over time, documenting one trail at a time each ride, and training other riders to do the same thing in their respective areas, so that in like 10 years or so, there's enough information out there where I can just pull up the app and be like, oh, cool, this trail's good, this trail not, and know where I can ride safely.
That is fascinating. So when you came up with the rating system, did you base that off of another rating system that's already out there, or did you just sort of make that up completely from scratch?
Good question. Kind of a little bit of both.
Okay.
The rating system from scratch, totally.
Okay.
And it's all based on logic. Well, the thing
so rare these days.
Where is the logic in the world, right?
That's right.
But the goal is to not reinvent the wheel. There's so much really good information out there already that already exists. An adaptive rider might need to look at it through a different eye. The blue, black, green thing.
Right.
Sometimes that's a little switched around for adaptive riders, but the information is still there. And an adaptive rider can figure that out usually. The question that we want to answer with the rating system is, does an adaptive rider need a support rider or not? That's the only question it answers and identifies potential obstacles.
Okay.
That's it.
That seems very streamlined and
yes,
sort of exactly the info that people are going to need.
I agree with that statement. Not everybody agrees with that. People want more information.
Yeah.
And people don't agree with having a simplified rating system, which is what Trail Forks asked for, by the way. They wanted something very simplified that's duplicatable across, multiple platforms.
Yeah.
They want this to be something that, other services can use as well, which is very unselfish of them. And they want us to be set up for success.
Right. Right.
But the thing is when there's all kinds of information. Well, for example, there's other people out there doing the same thing, and they provide amazing amounts of information and have like color coded, really, intricate systems.
Yeah.
And I go to their website and I'm, oh my God, I'm a little overwhelmed.
Right.
I can't focus. But it is really good information. Once I can get my mind to settle down and focus, I can kind of figure things out. But the problem is everything in the middle, everything that's in the maybe area,
right?
There's still a question, and the only way to find out is to ride the trail, really.
Right.
And how many people out there do you know that do research before going for a ride?
Yeah.
Not very
Probably
many.
Not very many.
If someone's going to do research, they're going to usually, for the most part, do two things. One, watch video. They're going to go on YouTube and type the trail name in, and they're going to watch video.
Right.
So that's part of the rating system. It doesn't exist on its own. It works in conjunction with uncut video and a trail blog. So you might read a trail blog maybe, but the other thing that you might do is look for recommended routes.
Right.
You're going to find a recommended route and follow the route and watch video on those trails. That's what most people are going to do.
And that's part of what you're doing right now as well, right? You're putting together part of your video series. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but part of your video series that you've put together is actually documenting a lot of these trails and your experience as you go out and sort of try these trails and your process of sort of putting together this rating system.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm out there riding and I'm sharing my experience.
Yep.
I'm showing the trail, but it's kind of, well, and I'm also providing other information too, like on staging, on facilities, on gates, which are all very important for adaptive riders to know those things. That's all in the blogs, the trail blogs. But the funny thing is, I kind of missed my calling as a teenage man. I really didn't have parents that like gave me the tools to like, one, be a man in this world. I had to learn that on my own way later.
Right.
And but also to better understand who I am at my core. I had to kind of figure that out on my own too, without any guidance, with very little guidance. And when you're a teenager and you don't have guidance, what do? You just follow the flow and do what's cool.
Right.
So what was cool is I playing football. So I played football when looking back, football, I did well because I worked really hard at it.
Yeah.
And I'm athletic, but I wasn't ever going to go anywhere with it.
Right.
I mean, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm not built for it,
Yeah.
But what I
Me
could
and you both.
What are you talking about? You're like you have middle linebacker all over you.
Jeremy, this is on video.
But if I had stuck with cross country, which I did dabble in, I maybe could have gone somewhere with that. And if I would have joined the drama club, that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
So I kind of missed my calling as a thespian.
Right.
And so the YouTube channel has kind of brought that out of me.
Well, listen, I mean, I've seen so many, if not all of the videos that you have.
You've watched all my videos
out there. Well, I shouldn't say all of them because I went to your YouTube page today and I realized there's like even more content than I think I found the last time I was there. So, but I've watched a lot of them, and you're just great on camera, and like
Thanks,
the videos themselves are entertaining. So let's raise a flag at this point in the podcast and tell everybody where they can find this channel on YouTube, because people, you got to go check this out.
Well, you can just search my name, Jeremy McGhee.
Yep.
It usually comes up, but the name of the channel I came up with, it's because life in a wheelchair is pretty much relegated to the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying, this bike allows me to get off the pavement and out onto the trail and have a relationship with nature. So I see it as, unpaving people's lives in a wheelchair or not. And I'm proposing a movement of all of us off the pavement and into the wild. And so hence the name, The Unpavement.
I love that. The Unpavement.
Yeah.
That is just great.
So if you look up The Unpavement on YouTube, you'll find it.
That's perfect. So everybody, stop what you're doing right now. Go check out The Unpavement on YouTube, or if you don't, take some time this weekend and get into it. It's like, it's really, really, really great content. And just really some fascinating stuff. And part of that content is about your move to Bentonville. So I'm sure you have a place in San Diego right now, and I'm sure people are like, well, why would you want to leave San Diego? Obviously a beautiful place. But of all the places in the country you could have moved to, you chose to buy a house here in Bentonville. Why was that?
Well, there's cool places everywhere.
Yeah.
San Diego's awesome.
Yep.
There's pros and cons to everything, though.
Yeah.
There's awesome things about it. There's not so awesome things about it. Same with here. There's awesome. This place is awesome, and there's places, there's not so great things about everything in life. But moving here, I wanted to be, I'm also the U.S. dealer for those bikes that I ride. They're made in Poland, and I've acquired demo bikes, and I wanted to be in a destination mountain bike place.
Right.
Where people San Diego has good mountain biking, but no one's going to really travel there to go mountain biking specifically.
Right.
They might end up riding a bike while they're there, but they're not going there for that reason.
Right.
People come here to ride.
Yep.
Because the mountain bike infrastructure is amazing.
Right.
So I wanted to be in a place like that where people would come to try the bike, come to ride anyways, even if they're trying a bike or not, interested in getting a bike or not.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I mean, and we've labeled ourselves as the mountain bike capital of the world, partly because of that infrastructure, but also, because of the accessibility on the trails. And I mean, you've traveled around a lot, so I'll ask you, I mean, have you found that sort of the amount of trails that are accessible for adaptive riders here versus maybe, trails around the country that, there's just a lot of accessibility here? Because it seems like that's part of what you're documenting in your series right now as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, the adaptive mountain bike friendliness here is exceptional.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to ride. Man, and I'm still new and I'm still just learning. And there's so people are asking me about these trails. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't heard about that. I haven't heard about that. Oh my gosh. And,
Right.
And oh my God, I use the this is a funny analogy. Do you remember Fraggle Rock?
I do. Yes.
This is going to seem so random. You remember the little, I can't remember if they're blue or green, but the little guys that were always constantly building, they're called the dozers.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of here.
Oh.
Is they're constantly building, and it's not going to stop.
Yeah.
There's big plans, and now all the new building is being done with different user groups in mind, and especially adaptive mountain bikers.
Yeah. So
everything that's going in from now on is going to be very inclusive.
Yep.
That's exciting.
Absolutely.
And then, yes, the current infrastructure is mostly machine built with a lot of planning in mind and really, really thought out well.
Yeah.
And for that reason, yes. There's issues here and there, and that's what I'm here to look at.
Yeah.
Is those things. And coming back here, I got back last week and was able to ride a slaughter pen for the first time since submitting all my reporting and everything. And they've already begun work, and it's really cool to see the fruits of our labor already. And see those changes out there already. Yeah. Yeah. We had a group of adaptive riders out here this weekend for during Outer Bike.
Yeah.
And it was so cool just watching them rip through, a section that had been updated, so that they could rip through it.
Right, right.
And it was so cool to see them just rip through it. They didn't know that wasn't like that,
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, and that had been changed. It was just cool, so cool to see that firsthand for the first time.
That is fantastic. And so I know you're going to continue to travel with all the work that you do, but you're going to continue sort of the video series kind of highlighting trails here in Bentonville as well, right?
Yes. So, my videos up until now have been mostly in the Southwest.
Yeah.
A lot of California, a lot of Arizona and Utah and Colorado, because that's where I've been. And so now that I'm out here, naturally videos are going to be covering this area.
Right.
But I've kind of coined it as chapter 2 of my channel, and I'm changing things. It's not a mountain bike channel.
Right.
And it never has been for me. It's more about, motivating you to get outside and be active.
Yeah.
And, even just simply just to entertain you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of entertainment out there today, and a lot of it is very dark. There's this epidemic of just dark shows right now.
Yeah.
And I want to offer something, even on the simplest level, entertainment that doesn't leave you feeling dark, doesn't leave you feeling empty, but the opposite, leaves you feeling good about yourself and maybe even just motivated yourself to get out there at the simplest level, just providing positive entertainment.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, man, that's inspirational. I'll tell you, it's working. I mean, every time I watch one of your videos, I want to get outside.
There you go.
Or call you and say, hey, when are we going to hang out again?
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do it. And I'm like, let's stay inside and drink.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But the channel's changing. Like I was saying, it's not about mountain biking. I want to cover more of the in-between.
Yeah.
What it takes for me to get out there, and my daily life, more of that stuff, more of the travel, more of the beers with friends,
right,
more of the lifestyle stuff rather than just the sport.
And it's cool things too, where that I think is just really interesting that people are already kind of keying in on. You've even, I think you even highlighted kind of like moving to Bentonville, buying a house, all those things that a lot of us do, but you're kind of highlighting that process as well, and so I believe that's one of the videos as well, right? Like moving into the home.
Yeah, I want to show the house and the work on it,
Right.
and the building of my studio in the house, because I'm trying to really get going on my podcast too.
Yeah.
I want to be able to record podcasts in the home, my van, you know, California boy in Arkansas.
You're right.
You know, all that stuff is the stuff I want to cover. It's a lot more. I think about the channels that, you know, I'm excited to sit down and binge on, and those channels, it's because I'm invested in the people. I want to know what's up with them.
Right.
You know, like, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing now? And it's not necessarily to see the trail.
Right.
You know, there is that viewer that wants to see that trail, and I started another channel. It's called the Unpavement Uncut, and that's just raw trail video.
Yeah.
That's all that is. It's super easy. I just upload the raw trail video. And then this channel is becoming more about the lifestyle and everything in between. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is just great. And I think it's part of that lifestyle piece that you're building out while basing out of Bentonville. You have a pretty cool sponsor that some people may be aware of. Speaking of beer.
Yeah.
What's going on with Sierra Nevada?
They're just good people.
Yeah.
They're really good people. And they have decided that they believe in what I'm doing and want to support me.
Yeah.
And growing up, you know, or living so long without like really close family, it's nice for someone to step up and say, we want to support you.
Yeah.
And I've like found a family.
Yeah.
In this beer company.
Yeah, that's great.
Out of California, out of Northern California. Yes, Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. They are not just sending me beer, but they are supporting me monetarily.
Yeah.
And they have the means to do it. And you can buy their beer knowing that they support your boy, and you can feel good about spending money on that product.
Absolutely.
I really mean that. I'm not just saying that because they're a sponsor. I really mean that. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes they can't always get me beer. What beer do you think I go buy when I'm at the store? Because I want to support them too. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is so cool to hear. And I hope you also feel like, you know, you have a family here in Northwest Arkansas too, because I know I'm not just speaking for myself, but a lot of our mutual friends, and I know a lot of people, you know, here in the community, we just love having you here. So, man, it's exciting what's happening in Bentonville. We have people coming in from all over the country to kind of experience it for themselves. You're going to be out there, kind of part of your story is going to be the Bentonville story, you know, as we move forward as well, which is going to be exciting. And so let's talk about, you know, what's kind of coming up in the future for you.
Ooh, great question. I do want to say though, thank you.
Yeah.
For your kind words. I so get in my head and always think like negative things. Yeah. And so it's really nice to hear things like that and to feel so accepted and loved. And that is above and beyond this being a mountain bike destination. That is the reason why I moved here. Yeah. Because I was welcomed with open arms and felt like I was part of a family immediately. Yeah. Immediately. The first day I was ever here. Yeah. So that's the reason to be here. 100%.
Well, you're exactly right about that. I mean, the community here is just really fantastic.
It's ridiculous. There's something going on every night, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are calling, texting, like, "Hey, you're going to this? Hey, you're going to that? You're going to that?" Like, oh my God, yes. I want
Leave me alone.
No way. I love it. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I spend a lot of time alone on the road and everything, and it's really nice. There's always something. Someone always wants to ride. Someone always wants to go have a drink. Someone, you know, there's always, you know, something going on. There's group rides like every night of the week. It seems like, yeah. Right. What's in the future for me? Great question. Well, that's a great question because I'm thinking about a future for the first time in my life. I didn't think I'd live to see 40, and I have lived accordingly. Yeah. So, you know, when it comes to buying a house and things like that, this was it was not something that was in my purview until just very recently.
Yeah.
So I'm a big boy now. I'm all grown up.
Well, welcome to the club.
So, I've got a business, I've got a home. It's hard for me to think past this week with having a house that needs so much work right now.
Yeah.
That's stressful in its own. I tend to be, kind of anxiety ridden, and man, fixing up a house, and on your own, is I'm definitely experiencing anxiety. Let's just say that.
Right.
There's a lot to do, and I have to like narrow my focus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, one step at a time, buddy. Let's
right.
do this. I'm gonna get a couch this week.
Hey. Also a big commitment.
Big commitment. The couch. My future. Well, it's my goal to be able to go on tour every year, and document trails.
Yeah.
And being able to make that a reality is going to be some work, where I can spend 3 months of the year on the road documenting my experiences, making videos, and building up the information for adaptive friendliness on trails.
Right.
And also training others to do that as well. That's my goal. And to set something in motion that's in place long after I'm gone. That's about what I think for my future right now.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to make it happen.
I think so.
You're already making it happen, so that's why I know.
I want to make my life count, man.
Yeah.
Before I know it, there's going to be an 80-year-old man looking back at me in the mirror, saying, "What the hell did you do with your life, Jer?"
God, it goes by fast, doesn't it?
Right? And I don't want to be one of those people that says they're going to do all these things and never does them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that comes with age. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I mean, when you're in your late teens, early 20s, it's like a year is a long time. And I'm just thinking about this year. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and it's like 2021, it's almost over. Like this year's been flying by. And but I think some of that has to do with, as you get older, time starts to become a little bit more of a factor. So I hear exactly what you're saying, and it's very admirable. I mean, there's a lot of people that, they're focused on sort of getting to the next level of sort of success of some kind, but to have a goal of like actually really spending your time narrowing in on something that's going to have a lasting effect for a lot of people, is a very admirable thing. So tip of the hat to you.
I appreciate that. I'd be lying if I said I wanted this,
Yeah.
I don't want to be an adaptive rider.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be paralyzed. Being in a wheelchair sucks,
right.
to be totally honest with you.
Right, right.
But we need to play our best hand.
Yeah.
And when I think, okay, how can I make my life most count in this crazy world of ours? This is it. This bike, trails, this world.
Yep.
And this channel is, in my vision, the best I could do with my life right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we all need to do, if there's something that's not right, we're unhappy in some way, like we need to spearhead that and figure it out, because life is very short.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. Man, I don't think there's a better way to end this podcast than that note right there.
Oh, really? I was like, bust out the whiskey. Let's roll with this.
Exactly. That's another podcast, another time. But listen, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you on behalf of everybody for like all of the work that you're doing. It's so just fantastic to have you here in Bentonville and sort of already integrated into the community, and you're working with so many different organizations and folks already, just making a big change, and then kind of taking that out on the road and making a big difference really across the country. And you're an inspiration, and people need to go check out your YouTube page, start following you. And listen, you need to come to Bentonville, meet this guy firsthand. He's out and about all the time.
Come ride and drink a Sierra with me.
There we go. Come ride and drink a Sierra with Jeremy McGhee. That's exactly right. So, man, thank you for this. I appreciate it. And we'll have all of Jeremy's info on our website and as part of this podcast as well. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah. Do you mind if I use my sign off from the channel?
Oh, let's do it. That'd be perfect.
All right, everybody. Now it's your turn. Put that phone down and go get your hug from Mother Nature. Not that we were in Mother Nature for this episode, but you get the point.
Oh, I get the point. I love that. I love it. We may have to steal a version of that moving forward.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, Ben, thank you. This is another episode of a New American Town podcast. I'm here with the very cool, very inspirational, very hardworking Jeremy McGhee. My name's Aaron Mullins with Visit Bentonville. We will see you next time. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, guys.